Hello and welcome. This is your global news summary for February 12th, 2026. We're here to get you right up to speed on the day's most important events. And we have to start today in Canada with a truly heartbreaking story. These words, they're from a grieving father, and they really set the stage for our first report. So here's what we're covering for you today. We'll start with that tragedy in British Columbia, then move to a bizarre twist in a kidnapping case in the US. After that, it's a historic election in Bangladesh, deep divisions in Washington, and we'll finish with a look at extreme weather hitting the Southern Hemisphere. Okay, our first story takes us to the small Canadian town of Tumbler Ridge in British Columbia. It's the site of a really devastating mass shooting at a local school. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police have now confirmed that the death toll has tragically risen to 9. Just think about that, 9 people. It's an unimaginable loss for such a tight-knit community. So here are the key details we have so far. Police say they arrived on the scene while there was still active gunfire. We're also learning that the suspect, who is now deceased, had a known history of mental health incidents. And there's just desperate hope for a 12-year-old victim who is still in critical condition right now. In response to this crisis, British Columbia's Premier David Eby is on his way to the community to offer support. All right, next we're turning to a high-profile kidnapping case in the United States that has just taken a really perplexing turn. This case involves the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who is the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. So to get everyone up to speed, let's just quickly run through the timeline. Nancy Guthrie was reported missing 10 days ago, back on February 1st. Then, on February 10th, police detained a person of interest, but in the early morning hours of February 11th, that individual was released. And then, just hours later, a brand new ransom demand surfaced, which just adds another layer of mystery to this whole thing. And this is where it gets really strange. The demand itself is, well, it's highly unusual. The latest message, which was sent to TMZ, doesn't ask for a huge sum of money for Guthrie's return. Instead, it demands just 1 Bitcoin. And get this, it's not for her release, but purely for the name of another person who's allegedly involved. It's a very specific and, frankly, very confusing demand. The FBI is definitely intensifying its investigation. They've just released new footage of a masked individual seen near Guthrie's home and are really asking for the public's help. And the public has responded in a big way. A dedicated tip line has already received more than 4,000 calls. We're about halfway through our update. If you find these direct summaries valuable, please just take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support really does help us keep bringing this content to you. Let's shift our focus now over to South Asia, where polls have opened in a landmark election in Bangladesh. This is a really, really significant moment for the future of that nation. A lot of people are calling this vote a democratic reset. So why is that? Well, it's the very first election since a massive student-led uprising back in 2024 led to the ousting of the long-serving Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. An interim government has been running the country since then, and today's vote also includes a national referendum on a whole package of major constitutional reforms. And to give you a sense of the scale of this, wow, over 127 million people are eligible to vote today. That makes this one of the largest elections happening anywhere in the world this year. So who are the main players in all of this? Well, with Sheikh Hasina's Awami League suspended from even participating, the field is wide open. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or BNP, is seen by many as the frontrunner. Their main challenge is coming from an 11-party opposition coalition. It is a completely new political landscape for the entire country. Okay, let's head back to the United States now, where a couple of separate issues are causing a lot of friction on Capitol Hill. So on one hand, you have the House of Representatives, which just passed the Save America Act. This is a Trump-backed bill, and it would impose some very strict new proof of citizenship requirements for anyone voting in federal elections. It's been fiercely condemned by groups like the ACLU, who are calling it a dangerous assault on democracy. And at the very same time, the unredacted court documents from the Jeffrey Epstein case are causing a major stir. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna has publicly named 6 wealthy men he says are likely incriminated by these files, and that has, unsurprisingly, led to some really heated exchanges between lawmakers. For our final story, we're going to broaden our view to a global scale and look at a series of extreme weather events that are unfolding right now across the Southern Hemisphere. A very clear and worrying pattern is emerging as we get into 2026. In South America, devastating wildfires are just burning through parts of Argentina and Chile. At the same time, both Australia and South Africa are experiencing record-breaking heat waves. And science is drawing a direct link here. A brand new study that focused specifically on those fires in Patagonia has concluded that human-caused climate change made the conditions for these devastating wildfires up to 3 times more likely than they would have been otherwise. It's a pretty stark summary of what's happening across an entire hemisphere. Record heat, which is fueling these raging, uncontrollable fires. And that concludes our global news summary for February 12th, 2026. We'll be back with another update for you in 24 hours.